Good morning, good evening, and welcome to a live stream. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, and here we are to fight CPS. Stop taking our children. Yes, you heard me right. CPS does take our children, and I'm here to help all of you people out here. This is a live broadcast on YouTube using the StreamYard application. You found me on Facebook fighting CPS. I'm glad that you found this room. I will help you. I am been also a CPS victim myself. I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father and a husband. Have helped raise 6 children. I've also have 42 years of marriage experiences. And I have a lot of life skills. And I could really help you all. I know today we had someone this morning that was great named Alex. She actually fought in the CPS system and got her kids back. She was used in San Bernardino County in California. And it was amazing, her story was. So it can work. It can work even with a court-appointed attorney. And sometimes the social workers will help out. It was a terrible case for her because she was in a prison. She was pregnant in prison. She had a child by the guy that was lousy to her, did drugs and everything else. But she wanted to have her child back, so she got a commitment from the social worker to work with her. She served her time. She did her drug treatment program, domestic violence, and so forth. And she corrected her ways, and they awarded the child back to her, both her children. So it can happen. It can happen. It's a beautiful story that we shared. Now, you find me once in the morning, once in the evening, 7 days a week. That's 14 live streams. Now, I usually come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, California time. That's Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. And then I come on in the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the California time for 1 hour. And on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, I come on a couple hours early. So I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. This Sunday, I'm coming on early because I have a special church commitment that I'm going to do. And I want to feed my family early because they were hungry and I want them to get better. I do have a family still, and I try to take care of them. Now, I'm here to help you with your case. There are lots of people that are regular people in our family's room. Good evening, Margaret. Margaret is from St. Louis, Missouri, and she's actually hired Mr. Davis, who's going to help her with the appeal. So glad to see you. NYP is, I believe, Alicia. And hello, Bob. I missed the show this morning. I understand it was on early at 8 o'clock, and if I'm not mistaken, you're from California, right? NYP. I think you're from the San Diego area. And Betty, oh, so good to see you. So good to see you, Betty. Betty's a longtime person in my room, along with Margaret and NYP. And she had a horrible case where she formally adopted her child and did the right things and used the interstate compactor for placement of children, was all checked out. And she got guardianship of her child. And then a horrible thing happened. The mother of the child made some accusations that the foster mother would be separation anxiety with the child. I don't know if that's been proven or not, but Betty, her child is a niece. She's a blood relative. It's her brother's child. And her brother right now not able to see his daughter because he's still strung out on drugs and still doesn't have a steady job and no steady home. But it was hopes down the road that maybe one day he would. There's family for the niece here. And supposedly these foster care parents are saying that the child would be harmed. And they got supposedly a doctor or a nurse that will say that. And they really just want money. That's all they care about. It's a money-making business. And the state of Nebraska and the counties in Nebraska, they're corrupt. They're corrupt. And so I really feel for you, Margaret. I do. Now, Margaret says the social worker told me twice she was working on getting my granddaughter back to me, but here she's weird and reduced my visits. That's wrong. Grandparents are entitled to visits. There's that manual that's out there that you can get that talks about the steps for grandparents to get visitation with their grandchildren, and also they get the steps of getting guardianship and so forth. That's nice, NYP. I know you're praying for Betty. We all are. We all are. She's a good woman. She's a foster care mother. Recently, about a month ago, she took in a child that the parents were killed Friday night in a car accident. She took the child in and held him until a suitable place could be found for him, and he's going to be adopted with family members. It's such a beautiful story. And he still calls her every night to tell, hey, Mom, I'm safe. I'm okay. And so, children are very, very, very good. They can accommodate anything out there. And Margaret says that was weird too by the social worker. Yeah, they do that to make it bad for you. They do that for making you bad there. So NYP and Margaret are praying for you. I'm praying for you, Betty, and we will get your child back somewhat there. So I have 4 things that we do in this room. One of them is just you found me on Facebook, and I've already told you my 14 show times. And one thing is that you can take 4 steps in this room. The first thing is you can show emojis, such as a thumbs up, a smiley face, or a heart, or you can send me some stars. And thank you, Z. And also thank you very much, Lori Heller, for this morning's thumbs up. She's from Canada, and I forgot to thank her, but she comes on here a lot. She finally opened up a couple weeks ago, and she's been on my show for 17 months. Now, I've talked to over 1,000 people and done pretty close to over 900 live streams. And everybody has something in common. That is that CPS was bad in their case. They took their children, which weren't in danger. My children were not in danger when they took them out of school. They put them in danger. They put them in danger. So that was very corrupt. And no matter what is said, they don't listen to parents. They will listen to an attorney. And I should have got an attorney that day. And I should never have opened your home. You should never let them go through your home or talk to them. I said so much. It could be all damaging. It could be all damaging. And hello, Terry Shelton. You'd like to call in? Okay. Well, let me put my phone number up so you can call in right now. Here's my number. It's 626-698-0990. And all you do is call in. I'll answer the phone. Okay, so go ahead and call in. Good evening, and who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
Good evening, this is Terry Shelton, calling from LA County.
Right, Terry. I'm glad to meet you. I think, were you the one that's on the live stream that we're going to call in? Okay, great. I just want to make sure I have the right one. Yeah, Terry Shelton. I see you. And you're from California. What part of California?
Right now, I would rather just say LA County because I do have a current situation going on.
That's fine.
So
LA
I'm
County's
just going to
fine.
say LA
Right.
County right now.
Right. LA County. That's one of the biggest counties in the States. And how did your case start
Correct.
off? How did your case start off?
So my case started off 5 years ago. I was a victim of domestic violence, and they used this to open a case against me and take my children away.
Now, the domestic violence, were you married to your partner?
I was not, and there wasn't any like physical abuse or anything like that. There was some accusations from my ex-husband. We were going through a custody battle, and he made some allegations. And with that being said, an investigation started. Even though they didn't have any physical evidence of domestic violence, because they had, witnesses or people saying this, that gave them the right to. I guess that gave them the right to try to, make up these allegations or make them stick.
Well, okay. You say you were married when? How many children were we talking about?
So right now, the situation I'm currently in is with 3 children.
Okay. Now, is the father the same for all 3 children?
No, 2 of them have the same father, and one of them has a different one.
Okay. Now, the father with the first 2 children, does he still want to be involved? Is he the one you're married to?
No, I'm not married to any of them at the moment, but I was married to him for 12 years. However, we are going through a separation right now, and the kids are not willing to have anything to do with him. I went through family courts and was given custody of my oldest son, and I was given 50-50 custody of my youngest son with him.
Okay. So you have a 50-50 arrangement. How's the arrangement been working out?
So because of the situation, again, my son is 12 years old. The relationship with his father is very strained due to the reason that we separated. And so it's not going well. Dad is kind of blaming me for the situation, claiming that I'm brainwashing the child, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
However, these kids are, for me, they're human beings. They're entitled to their own emotions, their own feelings, and I'm not going to force them to be around people that don't respect their feelings, emotions, or even that they're people just because they're children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did the first contact with CPS start? Did they come to your home, or they call you, or they sent you some paperwork?
So initially I was homeless, living out of a shelter, and they came and made contact with me while I was in one of the transitional homes, stating that they had some allegations and they wanted to speak to me and wanted to speak to the kids, so they came to where I was at.
Now, was the shelter taking in your kids too?
Yes, we were all at the shelter together.
So you're at the shelter with these kids, and CPS got some. Do you know if it's from a layman or from a professional?
The allegations were from my ex-husband that I'm going through the separation.
Right. He is called a layperson, and that's typical that most spouses will try to alienate the children from the other parent, to get custody. It all happens with custody. It's sad because parents get very emotional and they are attached to their children. So what he did is he called, and that's dangerous. He used a loaded gun. You never want to talk to CPS. You never want to call them, and you certainly don't want to invite them into your home. I tell people that all the time because the worst thing you can do is let them in your home, because then they think to get permission to search your home, and then they think they have permission to take your child. And usually they take the child, even though the child may not be in danger. Now, if you're at a shelter, was your child in danger, or was it being neglected in the shelter?
Not at all.
Okay. So, and of course, you didn't think about getting an attorney right away, did you?
Of course not, because I didn't feel that they had anything against me to prove this.
Yeah.
So me myself, I was like, I did exactly what all parents think. If I cooperate, it'll go my way. If I cooperate with them, they'll see the truth, and nothing will happen. And that's definitely not what happened.
Well, I agree with you because I did the same thing too. When for 5 years, when they were harassing me from lay people calling it about my wife and I not taking care of our children properly, I proved that they were untrue. That lasted about 5 years. Then they got tired of hearing these complaints from my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, three sisters, and a brother. And they were calling them once a week for 5 years saying ridiculous things that were not true, and they just got frustrated. So what they did is they got a hold of the police, and then the police found out my driving patterns, followed me, stopped me, and ordered me to come to my home and open it up. I did not know that you're not supposed to do that. I did not know that. I should have said, no, I cannot do that. Do you have a court order? Do you have a warrant? I cannot let you into my home, and I cannot talk to you. And so my rule number 3 is do not open your door to anybody, and do not talk to social workers or the police, because everything you say be used against you. So you got to
So
be.
I think, Mr. Pace, I think that's where I'm needing a little bit of assistance at, because I did follow that advice. So right now, my current situation I'm in is the DCFS is trying to come and remove my kids again from me. This would be the third time in the last 5 years that they've trumped up some erroneous allegations and removed my kids.
Well, sad to tell you that LA County is one of the bad child protection systems. They've gone rogue. Orange County, LA County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, Shasta County, Kern County, all in California have gone bad. And it's sad. They found out a mechanism called money. When they took my 3 children, they took them into foster care, and they got the state releasing $20,000 per child per month. That's $60,000 they're getting to have them in foster care. And the foster care wasn't getting that amount of money. And that's the sad thing about it. All CPS was getting the money from the state because they're supposed to take care of the children. And so what they do is they use the money for bonuses and reward the social worker for keeping the children in foster care. That's the goal, is to keep them in foster care till they reach 18. Because if you can imagine $20,000 per child per month for 18 years, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And so you multiply times the number of children they have, and that becomes a tremendous amount of money. And I'm sad. That's what they do. And I know that from firsthand experience. Now, so they came, did they knock on the door? How they approach you?
So this last time, they came to my home at 10 p.m. at night. I wasn't at home when they came, so they sent me a text message and stated that if I could bring my kids outside because they were there with the removal order. Because I wasn't home, I never answered the text message.
Good.
I ignored them. The next morning, I reached out to my lawyer, and he advised me that there was no removal order that he saw for my kids. I have all documentation of every conversation with my lawyer as well, where he stated for the next 3 to 4 days, we checked on this removal order, and there was nothing. There was no removal order or anything of the sort for my kids. So what they really were trying to do is get me to voluntarily hand them my kids so they can make it seem like I gave them my kids. They did that to me before in 2024, where they came and kidnapped my 6-year-old son. They came to me at 8 o'clock at night when we were all asleep with sheriffs and removed my son from me. This time, however, because I was aware of their schemes, I did not respond to them at all. I just reached out to my lawyer. Like I said, 4 days went by, and he said there was no removal order whatsoever. So I reached out to a family law attorney. After receiving another text message from a social worker that I had never spoken to, she texted my phone and stated that there was a warrant out for my arrest and that they were going to put a all protective warrant out for removal of my kids. However, I've spoken to the family law attorney. I've done a statewide search for my name as well as a county search to see if there's any warrants in my name, and there isn't.
That is a ruse. That is a ruse they use. They use that as a ruse. And they do that to scare. They use as scare tactics. That's why they use the police. They're intimidating factor. The police are supposed to be there to protect the social worker, not to act as intimidating to the parents. And if there's a criminal matter, they can't arrest you, but it's got to be a criminal matter. If they catch you, selling drugs or making drugs or robbing or thieving, they can arrest you.
They're trying to say that they're going to charge me with kidnapping and child abduction. So as a lawyer, and you're not a lawyer, as a consultant or someone that's been dealing with DCFS for a long time, do you think that's something they could do? And if so, why haven't they done it already? If there is an actual removal order for my children, why is it taking them so long to...
So they want to make it, okay, what has to happen is that the detective, the police investigates you and has to make all the information available to the district attorney of LA County. The district attorney then will make a decision whether they'll criminally charge you with kidnapping or something along those lines. And right now, that's a different kind of attorney, by the way. The attorney in the child protection case, you need to get one that is trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. But in criminal court, you need someone that is a criminal attorney. So it's almost you have to have a second attorney. And I had to too, because I had false allegations made against me, and it lasted a year. And it held up CPS from doing anything about my case for a year. It was the worst experience I ever felt. And I tried to complete all the classes they told me to, plus some. I always tried to complete more than it was asked. So there was another class, I'd end up taking it. And it was really, really, really tough in my case. I was in Orange County. In Orange County, the director of CPS is very bad. And I had to go to the top dog and talk to him and try to see if he changed to make, but he didn't. All he did is increase the hours that you're away from your children.
So right now, I think my biggest situation is this. Since they're saying there is no warrant out for my arrest, they have texted me a removal order. What exactly can I do to protect my kids? Because my kids have been sexually assaulted, physically assaulted while in foster care. None of this has been investigated. All of it has been reported to therapists, to other agencies, but DCFS themselves refuse to investigate the foster homes and the placements that they placed my kids in. I have a child right now that is on psychiatric meds because DCFS feels that because he keeps reporting these incidents, there's something mentally wrong with him. He's reported it to his therapist, he's reported it to his family, and DCFS refuses to do anything about it. Now I feel like it's I have to protect my kids because all these things that have never happened to them are happening while in DCFS custody.
Now, what is, have you seen this judge's order? Have you seen any kind of order that's saying what they're saying?
So they did text me a removal order, but when they texted me and I sent it over to my lawyer, he said that he did not see anything in their forum or on their side for the lawyer.
Well, first of all, text copies are not good copies of warrant orders. You need to see the original documentation and see the judge's signature. It's done on a piece of paper. So if you look at a computer or your phone, that's not legal documentation. You got to see the real thing, and they have to mail it to you or hand deliver it to you. But you need to see that documentation, see what really is going on, because a lot of times they use alternative methods because why? They want to make sure the case goes on forever and ever. So they get as much money as they can per month from all the entities out there.
So I'm trying to figure out now what's my next step. What should I do now? I know you're saying to reach out and find a lawyer, may it be criminal or dependency, but I'm a low-income single mother that doesn't have a lot of resources.
Well, I'm going to give you a very valuable resource tonight because you called in. You're eligible to talk to my attorney, my real attorney, Vincent W. Davis, for 15 minutes for free. And it'll be a Zoom consultation. And you can make a list of questions, prioritize them, and ask them. And those questions you ask me about the legality of things, he will answer. He will answer. And believe me, he will call you. He will talk to you. All you need to do, if you want it, is to text me your name and your phone number and your email at that number that's on my screen, 626-698-0990, the number you called in.
Okay.
And when you do that, I will take it. I'll send an email to my show producer, Grace, who in turn will set up the meeting with Vincent Davis.
Okay.
And
so I'm gonna text you right now.
Yeah, well, you can do it while we're talking, so you don't forget. Now,
right, I'm doing.
Good. Now, I don't want you to. I know you're frustrated about not having the right kind of attorney, and that is really where a lot of the weakness people had. I didn't either, but I got creative financing, and I quick sell my home. It was sad because I worked 45 years for that home, and I sold it for half of what I paid for. It was a big loss. And, I used that money to pay my attorney, Vincent Davis, to get my boys back, but I didn't get back our daughter because our daughter was tricked into emancipating from the parents. And that's where they get the divorce. And that's where it's really, really bad. But you got to understand the laws and how they work for you. You got to learn constitutional and your civil rights laws. And you got to definitely have an attorney you can talk to. And I know that there are expensive ones out there, but they're probably good ones. And right now, you get to talk to Vincent Davis, and he might help you. It doesn't hurt to ask. And so what you could say is that I really value as an attorney how much is your retainer to bring you aboard. And so it may sound out of play, but you can get your attorney back. I mean, get that attorney there, because you see, no one knows the law more like an attorney does. If you can imagine doing open heart surgery yourself, where you took a knife, cut open your chest, took out your beating heart and tried to fix it, you're not going to be successful. And that is the same analogy I use for fighting CPS. They are not transparent. They're not nice. They're rude. And they do nothing but take money either from Social Security or from a young child. They have a savings account or anything like that.
Okay, well, I do appreciate you giving me that opportunity to talk to your lawyer, because I haven't really been able to talk to anyone on that side of the litigation. So I really do appreciate that opportunity.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to scoot you off. I'm just trying to tell you, I didn't want to forget to tell you that that's a possibility. And so I do want to say hello to Margaret again. She had another question. She was asking, did they show you a judge's order? And you said you got to text something. Terry, I would get a second opinion. So that's what you need to do, is get a second opinion. And so I would like, that was a weird thing, Betty. But anyway, I'm wide awake here. I'm sorry if I look like my eyes are closed. I'm looking at my eyes and they're small eyes. I don't know why it is, but it makes it look like I'm sleeping. But I'm wide awake talking to Terry. And so I'm helping out Terry here. So the thing you got to be careful about is that you need to document everything. You need to get yourself a notebook. It's my rule number 2. Get some subject dividers and start an incident log about every incident that happens, either with CPS or with a social worker or the police or the school administrator. What you want to do is you have the first line you use, you put the date, the time, the location, the people you talk to, and the phone number. The second line, you put a summary of what the incident was about. And then the third line, you put a summary of where what the outcome was. If you don't know the outcome, you may have to wait a bit. So let me see.
I'm just taking down notes and I'm getting my questions ready for when I speak to the lawyer.
Right. You want to prioritize your notes there. And Margaret says, rash for kids. What do you mean, rash for kids? I don't know what she means, rash for kids. So we're about halfway done with my podcast. We have about 10 minutes left of my show. And you can continue the talk there.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I understand. Terry. I'm reading a message from Betty. And oh, hi, Alex. I remember you were on this morning. And where can I find my live stream? It's not a podcast, it's a live stream. And I am. Let's see what Alex is saying. Hi again. Where can I find your live stream? You can find me on Facebook. You can also look up YouTube. Look up Fight CPS Bob Pace, and you'll see me all over the place. You'll see me all over Facebook. You'll see me all over YouTube. Margaret says, cash for kids. CPS. They want kids for cash. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Margaret. Yes. You know, the CPS entity is so corrupt. It is really, 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 really corrupt. And I am my thoughts were messed up here because I was listening to someone in the room, and I'm trying to answer that person, but right now I can't answer them. I'll try to answer them in private. Now, there's 4 ways that you can, in this podcast, you can type in a message, either a comment or a question. You can text it in. And all I ask is that you show your first name, your city or county, and then your state. And if you're from another country, please, your country. And try to be complete with your CPS case. So, let me see here. Well, thank you, Terry. Are you still with me, or have you gone? Are you gone off, Terry? Okay, Terry's dropped off, and so the phone is open again for you guys to call in. Now, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, all you have to do is type an email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. Tell her what day you want to be on. I want to be on Bob's Saturday morning podcast. I want to be on Bob's Friday night podcast. And she'll put you on. You just text her. She'll text you back, give you a link, and then she'll tell you what you can do and not do. Being on a podcast is nice. I can take up 9 of you that can talk at once. Now, whether you call in or on my podcast, you can get a free consultation with Mr. Davis, my attorney, for 15 minutes. It won't cost you anything. So I hope you do call in. I hope you do call in. Now my phone number is back up. I still have a little bit of time to take phone calls. I have about I have to go at 6 o'clock tonight. I have to go at 6 o'clock. It's 5:55 right now, so about 5 minutes left here. Thank you, NYP. I appreciate you appreciating me. I'm trying my best on the show. I'm on a limited budget, and I have limited funds for doing things here, and I try my best to look my best to be wide awake and to help you all to hear. It's a lot easier if somebody else is talking or they have a question and they can call in and so forth. But I have 5 rules, and rule number 1 is to get an attorney, and you want to get an attorney trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, who's fought CPS. You want to document your case and create a time log of incidents. You want to say no to social workers, number 3, and say no to the police. Don't let them in your home, and don't surrender your children. Watch out for medical trafficking, because they do want to take your child if you bring them in there just for medical treatment. Also, rule number 4 is to research the internet about CPS. It's important you do your wording right. You should start off with a city, followed by a state, and then the words CPS, the letter CPS. And a lot of things will show up. If you want Pacific Matters after CPS, put there like the ICWA, the 1978 ICWA Act, the Indian Child Welfare Act, or maybe you could put down what is a 360 hearing, or what is the what are the steps on filing a complaint. So whatever you need to find, it's on the internet. That's where I find all my stuff there. So that is really, really good. Oh, you got to talk with Attorney Davis. And how did that go? Did he give you a full 15 minutes? Did he do that, NYP? I want to make sure it went well. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. And Alex, if you going to come in, I'll be on again tomorrow. It's good to see Alex. Alex wants to help out your parents. She had a case, and her court-appointed attorney worked, and the social workers worked with her. She was San Bernardino, California, the county of San Bernardino, and it all worked great. So she's one of the rare people that we've met that have had good success of fighting CPS and using the court-appointed attorneys. Now I'm going to have to end my show right now because it's slowly approaching 6 o'clock. I want to thank NYP from California. Thank you for being in here. Terry, thank you for your call. That's really appreciative. It's good to see you again, Alex. You're part of the family now. Margaret King, thank you for sticking at it, and I hope your appeal goes right. Alex, it's good to see you. Betty, I understand what you're trying to tell me, and I am not ignorant of what you're talking about, and I will try to tell you privately. Margaret King, I've already talked to. Betty, I want to thank her, and Terry and Margaret and NYP. I think that's all the people tonight. So God bless you all. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's 10 o'clock to Pacific Standard Time. So please take care of your children. Fight for them. God bless you. And this is Bob Pace signing off.